Hi there, and welcome to Cyber Triage Basics Collections. In this session, we're having a look at manual network collections. So, when we talk about manual network collections, we are going to deploy the Cyber Triage Collector onto our target system, onto the endpoint that is to be collected from. Then it is going to conduct the collection and stream that collection back over the network to Cyber Triage. Difference between this and say the PS exec deployment is that we are having to manually get the collector onto the endpoint for that collection. So a couple of key points when using this approach. First of all, it's up to you to get the collection tool out onto the target system. This can be done directly, plug a USB in, run the collector that way and tell it to connect back to the server or execute from a network share, or it can be pushed out via EDR or even PS exec or any other software deployment tool that you happen to have access to. Once the collection is kicked off, the results are then streamed back over the network to the server. So basically, same sort of concept as launching it with the collection to a file, except that the results are loaded into Cyber Triage automatically. Once that connection's made, the data is getting loaded, it's getting processed, and as with ingestion of any other type of collection, once the process kicks off or the ingestion kicks off, you're then able to start going about your investigation. A couple of different use cases. We certainly see, again, running it in SOCs, sometimes security team don't have direct admin access to the endpoints. They have the Cyber Triage server on the network, but they need to give that collection tool out to, say, the local IT person who can then go in and execute it, or even give it to the user to go and execute. Consultant scenario, consultants are on site, you're able to set up a Cyber Triage server on site, but then you're relying on the local IT team to launch the collector and feed their results back to the server. What do you need to do to actually get it running? Basically, get the collection tool ready to launch. You go to the Cyber Triage program, choose Add Host, and then select a network manual. And then it's going to open the network port and start listening for the collector to call in. And then you kick off the collection on the remote system, telling it to connect into the server. The server is listening by default on port 443. That can be changed in the options panel. Also need to make sure the firewall is allowing those connections through. And if you do change the default port, then you'll need to specify that change when you're actually running the collector. In terms of running the collection tool, we have the command line version, we have the GUI version. Both of those will work. Command line is much more appropriate if you're having to run at volume, or if you just want to be able to copy and paste a single command to an endpoint to execute it. The argument you need to use --server and then the host name or the IP address of the server. And once again, make sure you're using the collector executable, not the MSI installer when you're running this. This is what it looks like. You're running that collection tool, running that admin command prompt, change the directory containing the collector, give it the host name. You can run or apply any other arguments that you want, kick it off, and it's going to start collecting and uploading to the server. GUI, very similar as well, except you click on the remote server option, you enter in that host name or host IP address, destination port, and what type of server you are connecting into. If it is a team server, a couple of nice things about the team server, you can run multiple streams at once, but you'll also need a session ID or server key to kick that off. So let's just dive into a quick demo and look at how it runs. Kick things off, click Add New Host, then Network Manual, enter the host name that you are going to be collecting and click Continue. Choose your MD5 options and you'll see that the server is now listening on that port 443. Make life easy for you, the command line there to run the collector is already ready to go. You then go to your endpoint that you want to collect from, change to or start up an administrator command prompt, change to the directory that contains the collector, and you can run the collector. You can either kick it off straight away or you can use help to refresh your memory about what you need to be doing and select any additional options you want to add to the collection. In this instance, we are going to skip the file collection just to help speed things up a little bit. I should say skip the file contents collection and skip the source file contents collection so that we're processing everything on the endpoint and we don't have those files available for further analysis. So once again, this is an approach you may want to do if you are doing triage across a large number of systems, or you're on a really slow network and you've got limited bandwidth. We can now see that collection is running on the endpoint, and we can also see that it's connected through to our Cyber Triage console, the main program, and we can see that the data is coming in and we can actually go in and start looking at it now if we want to kick off that analysis. And you'll see if you switch back and forth between those two that collection phase or stage that you're up to should match what you're seeing on the endpoint and the server. If they don't match, then there's something really going wrong. Once that collection is complete, you can see here that the malware analysis is still going. It's underway. That will take a little while to run as those MD5s are uploaded to Reversing Labs. And then once that is complete, you are free to kick off your investigation. Happy hunting!